Hey guys, welcome back to the Small Time Critics. I am 1/3 of the Small Time Critics. I myself is Kem.
Moe.
Mohammed Hashi.
Love it. Yeah, and again, it seems like we're doing this a lot, but I have to do it. I'm going to have to apologise because I weren't able to catch up on the last 2 episodes of Successions, which obviously wrapped up the series.
Kem, just a quick one. You said we. Yeah, it's not we, it's a you.
We ain't speaking French.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's a good one. I'll take it back. I was being honest. I was being heartfelt. I said, look, you know what? My bad. But no, all jokes aside. Yeah, look, I had stuff that I couldn't sort of shift about. And unfortunately, which I do want to watch it, I couldn't see it. And I don't do it a lot. Hash, I'm sorry.
And I appreciate that, bro.
Don't take anything away from that apology.
That was a genuine apology. I appreciate
that. Was a genuine, but also just tell him you got kids, man. That's just you got kids.
Okay, well, I take back the apology. I got kids.
No, not to...
No, Mo, thank you. Anyway, moving forward. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to hand it over to Hash and Mo to talk Successions, episode 8 of
Why
season.
you always keep saying Successions?
Why you say Successions? It's just Succession. That's it. Plural. It's not plural, it's singular.
It's very jarring.
Yeah.
Is it jarring?
Actually, go.
No. It doesn't work like that. It's not jarring. Anyway, so they're going to talk Succession.
What episodes do you want to talk about?
7 and 8. Is it 7 and 8?
No.
Or is it 9?
No, we're talking about the whole series, really.
Talk about the whole series, but
No,
9
but-
and 8. 9, no.
8 and
9. 9 and 10.
Oh, so now you're going to blame me for your mess up.
Yeah, sorry.
Guys,
Anyway, this guy what?
go on, continue.
Anyway, so we're going to talk Successions. And yeah.
All right.
Let me hand it over. No. I'll hand it over to Hash.
Okay. So obviously, we've ended the show. The last episode that we talked about was America Decides, which was the election episode.
The one that made me so uncomfortable.
Exactly, because it reminded us of
20.
Mr. Agent Orange. Number 45.
He might be going to prison.
What?
Yeah.
He might be going to
Caught a bird.
Yeah.
Caught a bird.
Yeah. I'm hearing something like 400 years or something like that.
Whoa.
I'm not even joking. That's what I heard, bro.
You know when people lie? You know when people say, bro, I was...
That's a wish.
No, you know when people talk about something like they were there.
Yeah.
And then he's like, were you there? It's like, no, my Bridget told me.
I was in the court.
Man just said 400 years.
I heard 400 years, bro.
To do what?
Take away a 0, man. Goodness
Were
me.
you gonna put him in cryostasis so he could actually serve it? Jesus. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, so we ended on that fantastic episode, the election episode, where basically the kids, they gave it to Mencken. And now we're in the next day because the season 4 has been chronological, kind of like every day by day, from the literally first episode till now.
It was about 10 days.
It's been 10 days. The whole season was 10 days. Every episode was a day. So this episode, after the election, is Logan and Roy's funeral. So it's the funeral episode.
Yeah.
And I thought that episode started really well in regards to them just getting ready and stuff like that. And Roman, he's the guy that they chose to do the eulogy.
He was in pieces.
But obviously he wasn't there. But at the start episode, he's confident.
Yeah.
He's vibing, you know what I mean? He's riffing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Saying, look at me, you know what I mean? You know, he was strong, look at me, you know. He's basically acting as though he's going to absolutely smash the eulogy.
I found Roman doing that a lot though.
Yeah.
Even in, I think it's episode after election day.
Yeah.
Because I did start it, where he was almost like prepping himself.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
But quick question for both of you lot: did you find, or how did you lot feel? I'll say the kids, but the grown people. The kids were moving after Logan's death.
So that kind of goes into the episode where, so they get there and they're having the whole preamble and stuff like that, and a really great moment before the funeral started was like the ex-wife, the kid's mum, Caroline, getting Carrie, who's basically Logan's current mistress, and his ex-wife Marsha, and then getting, oh look, this is Carrie, and then they introduced to another lady, goes, look, this was my Carrie, basically, and all of them sat in the front together, You know what I mean? I thought that was a good moment, and they're all holding hands.
Their mum is such a good character.
She is, and
She's in Silo, by the way.
she's in Silo as well.
Yeah.
And it was so funny where she's like, she's someone who doesn't really have feelings. It's like, remember when in season 3 when Kendall wanted to tell his mum what he did, and she goes, "Oh, don't want to do this right now.
Yeah,
let's do it in the morning with some eggs.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do this right now." And yeah, she kind of like you can see that when she sees Shiv and she sees that she's pregnant, she goes, "Oh, I don't actually say." And he goes, "Really?" You know what I mean?
To her credit, though, she knows she's a shit mom.
Yeah, she knows. Yeah,
She
she's
knows.
mentioned that many
She's
times.
so
But I
bad,
thought it was so funny, and then Shiv was like, "Yeah, mum." You know what I mean? They didn't actually explicitly say it, and I thought that was pretty cool. And the whole stuff with Tom not being able to get to wedding because he's got so much stuff after the aftermath of the election. Yeah. And then Greg saying, "I'm going to take wheel. I'm going to take the front wheel." Basically, the kind of like the casket procession into the church kind of thing. And
when was the bit where they had to fire a bunch of employees? Was that in episode?
Was that Greg and
yeah? Tom was like, "Oh, guys, I've had to do this all day. It makes me so sad. So Will's gonna take over." And then Will comes and fires them, and then Tom's back there.
And he's doing this in the back.
Yeah. He's like, "This is a piece of shit if I've ever seen one."
They're assholes,
bro. There is not one likable character on this show.
Okay.
That was episode 7, by the way.
I still love Greg.
I disagree. They're likable characters.
They're detestable people. Yeah, they're detestable people.
And so, Hash, I don't think you got the point I was trying to make. Well, the question I was asking: do you think there was a difference in behaviour from when Logan Roy died to after? Because beforehand, they were. Even though they was rebellious and they was trying to be rebellious, it's almost like they still wanted permission to be rebellious. Yeah. In my opinion, they didn't know how to do it. There's like this giant of a man, Logan, and when he died, it's almost like, no one can tell me anything anymore. Yeah. That's what
because they're entitled. They're so entitled. These kids.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Even like there was even scenes in like earlier seasons, like. For example, Logan asking Kendall, like, "What the hell are you doing this for? Like, why are you doing this? You don't even know why you're doing this. Like, what's the point, bro?" Yeah. Like, and then another scene where he's like, "You guys are all children. You don't know what you're doing." Remember when he tried to like finally speak to them? Yeah. And like
episode 2,
let's come to a compromise here.
And then he goes, "You're not serious people.
I love you,
but you're not serious people."
I love that bar as well. That was such a good line. He's like, "You lot are just not serious people." Yeah.
Kim, to answer your question though, apologies. There definitely was a change, and it was a change of they obviously loved their dad, and all they wanted was his approval, and they all have been hollowed out by his death. You know what I'm saying? Where Kendall's proper feeling it, Shiv as well, but obviously what Roman has done, but Roman's feeling the most, and he's the one who's the most emotional about it.
He's acting out
because obviously you saw what he did on top of the mountain. Would you call it in the episode when they're doing the deal in Sweden?
Yeah, he was wilding out on him
on episode 4, and he's wilding out because he's just so emotional.
I was kind of proud of him there, though.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
I was kind of proud of him.
I was proud of him as well. But in this episode, what happened was once it started, obviously Roman was meant to go up and do the eulogy, but Uncle Ewan, Logan's brother, stepped up. And he got past with Greg because Greg was told, look after your uncle. I mean, don't let him do anything stupid. And immediately, literally, he shook him off. You know what I mean? Give him the shoulder shake. He took the shoulder, and he was gone. And he goes, and they tried to stop him, and he goes, and then he gets up there.
What am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do? And the worst thing is, literally, as soon as Ewan goes up, he goes, "Look at you, trying to stop me to speak
about my old brother
for the sake of a stock price."
Yeah.
That was his first line, and he goes into this really elegant speech about their childhood and who he was as a person, and what could be the reasons why he was the way he was. And he talked about something about him feeling like he was to blame for his sister's death, dying young. Because of was it TB?
I think so.
Some kind of old kind of illness back in the day, kind of thing.
Consumption.
But yeah, again, and I thought that was a really interesting speech. And once Ewan sat back down, Roman was gone. He was rattled. He goes up there. He's trying to get his notes together. He goes, Just give me a second.
Yeah.
And then immediately, he absolutely lost it. Started crying.
Why am I laughing?
And because you know what? Why he's laughing? Because he literally like Kendall and Connor and Shiv went up there and goes, "You okay?" And stuff like that. He goes, "Is he really in there?" He goes, he points to the casket and goes, "Is he really in there?
Is he in there?"
And he goes,
Is he in there?
Wait, 1 second. It's why are you laughing so hard though?
It was funny. I don't like the way he did it.
No, I understand, but
It's so bad that we're talking about it like this.
you know what?
It's so bad we're talking about it like this, but there was something about it, the way he dropped that line of "Is he in there?" Because he had this whole thing of like, what's the brother's name? Connor.
Yeah.
Connor kept telling him, "Come see Dad, like come see him."
And he goes,
like,
"No, I pre-grieved."
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need to see that.
And he looks at it like seeing a dead body is kind of like, what the fuck? Why would you do something like that kind of thing, innit? But so it's for him to be, is he in there?
And the West.
And where the hell is he gonna be, bro?
And the best bit was when he goes, "Someone get him out." Can you need to watch this?
No. You know.
I feel like a bad person.
You are.
I'm a bad person.
You are.
But you weren't the only one. I was finished. Me and my brother, we were dying. We were dying because it's just it's so stupid, but funny at the same time and sad as well.
Yeah, there is an element of comedy on the show as well.
Oh,
sometimes the way they drop lines.
I've watched it. I've watched the last 2 episodes.
Sometimes the way they drop lines is just hilarious.
And then it was so embarrassing. And he eventually sits down and he goes, "Can I get some water?" And then like people are scrambling to get him a bottle of water. It's so funny. He eventually gets some water, and then Kendall steps up and does the most amazing eulogy. I'm not going to go into detail because you're going to watch it, but it was an outstanding eulogy where he talks about like how problematic their dad was, but at the same time, that's what is needed to be a killer and to be a titan, and you know what I mean. And to be the king of the, king of the castle kind of thing. And it was amazing. And then basically the funeral ends with basically Kendall being on top, and then literally Mencken, who's going to be the president-elect, basically going up to him and goes, "You can go. That was amazing," basically. And then once they go to the kind of like the event afterwards,
the wake,
whatever, and basically Mencken takes the mick out of Roman and goes, "Oh, Mr. Cry." He says something about him crying, and then he goes, "Come on," and then Kendall's like, "Come on, guys," and then Roman's like, "What? I can't cry at my father's funeral," and he's trying to, you know what I mean, trying to like spin it basically. Yeah. But it looks like Kendall's going to be the guy. Yeah. From that kind of thing.
To come full circle, like I've obviously, kind of a speed watch. I felt Succession was incredible, and I think you're the best person to ask in regards to, do you think that it wrapped up just right? So, or there could. Would you have wanted more, less, or would you want spin-offs?
So for me, we're gonna go into the finale now. But for me, I think the show is perfect as it is now. Yeah. What could happen is,
do you want it to happen though?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, go on. What could happen?
But what could happen is two things. There's talk of a 3-season prequel when Roman first comes to America, and potentially it could be played by James McAvoy. Now that's something that's interesting. But would I want to see that? Because again, it could ruin it. You know what I mean? But again, like obviously with Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul came, and that was really good, and that worked. So something like this could maybe work. But again, I really wouldn't want it. Or they could do Christmas specials, because obviously, like here in the UK, like many shows, great shows, they do like Christmas specials after a couple of years, stuff like that, and they could just get to these guys at major kind of holidays and stuff like that when they get together. That could be interesting, I guess. But for me, like going into the finale though, where now all the battle lines have been drawn. It's Shiv and Matsson versus the two boys basically, and it's interesting because like the finale basically begins with them trying to kind of get like the relevant votes on the board to be able to kind of take control of the company.
Shiv deserves everything that came her way. Shiv deserves everything.
Before we get into that, so basically, Shiv is basically.
Mo, is it disgusting?
No, she pissed me off, bro.
Look at his face.
Towards that
he looks disgusting.
But we'll get into that. Like, so she believes that her and Matsson are going to go all the way. Matsson, he feels some type of way because in the media it looked like there's literally like a cartoon drawn of Shiv controlling Mattson like a freaking doll. You know what I mean? And he goes, oh, that's just a joke. You know what I mean? So you don't feel anything. He goes, no, I don't mind that. You know, it's just a joke. It's funny. You know what I mean? I don't care about it. But he obviously does. And he doesn't. It's looking like he doesn't want her.
It should be the other way around.
You know what I mean?
He should be pulling the strings.
That's what he feels like.
Yeah.
So basically, the boys are scrambling to get votes. But then the thing is, the way the funeral episode ended with Roman absolutely like lost. He goes outside and goes. There's a protest. There's a protest for the fact that Mencken's going to be the president elect, because obviously ATN they announced him when they shouldn't have. Yeah. And the whole like left and center left are protesting kind of thing that he's going to be president, and he goes into them and goes, just you're morons, just like screaming at them, and
you don't know what you want. This and that, blah, blah.
And then people are like, "What are you doing?" He's pushing people, and then they start hitting him. And people are hitting him, and he gets injured, and he gets
punched up.
He got punched up.
Mark, sorry, you got to do with that. Right?
I'm sorry, but we got punched up, smacked up.
Say
Pussy. Pissed me off, bro.
So that's how the episode ended. So basically, he's MIA. At the start of finale, he's MIA. Yeah. Like, no one get hold of him. He's a major vote. Kendall thinks he's got the numbers. He's still waiting on Stewie and stuff like that. Stewie's not picking up because obviously, you know, Stewie, he's playing all the sides. And basically it gets to a point where their mum calls, calls Shiv.
Basically, Roman went to hide out there.
Yeah, he went to go hide at his mum's. His mum's at their holiday home.
She's on a honeymoon, isn't it? I think.
In Barbados. And so it ended up basically...
In the end, they all get there.
They all end up going to Barbados. And they tried to kind of talk through like what's going to happen. And then basically, Greg gets some information at one of the most important scenes. Yeah. Where Tom is basically on an interview with Mattson whether or not he's going to get fired. That's what he thinks. But it ends up being
oh my God,
basically Mattson trying to get temperature on him and whether or not he could trust him.
And the way he tested the temperature was one of the most disrespectful ways. He basically said, I want to F your wife. And he wanted to see Tom's reaction. Cool.
Because the worst thing goes, we're men. I understand that you want to do that. Yeah. And that kind of stuff. And I'm like, if it was me, I'll jump over the table and I'll kill the guy. If someone said that to you, bro.
As much as I don't like Tom, I think he's a hilarious character. But as much as I don't like Tom, I was like, in that moment, like, there's no way you can't do anything right now. He's like, I want to, if you were testing the temperature, he allowed it, cool. Yeah. And then he offered him the CEO job.
Yeah, because he goes, because I can't control her and I have feelings towards her, basically. But you, I want to cut stuff up. I want to do so many crazy things to the company. I just need a pain sponge.
Yeah, and Tom's okay with that. And Tom is completely fine with being a puppet.
And the great thing about the show is we've set up.
But you've seen that from the jump.
Yeah, exactly. Great point, Kem. And the fact that all he wants to be is someone that has money, because he's come from he's Midwest Tom, innit? From, you know what I mean, from the Twin Cities, St. Paul, you know what I mean, in Minnesota.
Even with Logan, like
he would have done anything for him.
There was a scene where obviously he was playing. Tom was playing. Logan was playing Shiv, and Tom was the go-to guy, the middle guy. Yeah, and when he felt that Logan and Shiv was gonna be when they was trying to the other takeover warriors. And
end of season 3, yeah.
And then he said to Logan, "He's like, oh, but we're cool, right? So, like, he's always been that guy. He'll do anything. Yep. Yeah. As long as like he's involved, he don't care. He would literally kill his own as long as he's involved. What he wants.
Yeah. So then that happens, and basically Greg finds out, obviously, because he's always shadowing Tom or whatever. He lets Kendall know. Kendall now lets Shiv and Roman know.
In Barbados.
So Shiv starts spiraling. Yeah, she's mad. She's trying to call Matt. In the end, she's just like, all right, what we're going to do? We need to bury him. Kind of thing, yeah. So now it's a question of which one of us three is going to be CEO. Yeah? They go through the motions and whatever. In the end, Shiv and Roman decide, all right, fine, let's just let Kendall do it. Yeah, it makes sense, okay? Now we're in the finale now, yeah, right? No, but before, they had the scene in the kitchen. They had a cool scene in the kitchen after they decided, Kendall's going to do a thing where they're just like...
A meal fit for a king.
So they just blended all of this crap together. Like, and he had to drink it.
And the worst thing is, because obviously Jeremy Strong is such a method actor, he actually really drank this disgusting concoction.
I think Roman even spat in it as well.
He spat in it, yeah. He
Or
did
Shiv spat in it.
Shiv spat in it.
Yeah.
Shiv spat in it.
Oh, that's disgusting. But anyway, we get to the finale.
Go on.
And the finale, I don't think there's much to talk about apart from like the major stuff, right?
I just want to say, because I'm about to get into. So the music and the score was incredible throughout this whole episode.
By the way, just in the series as a whole, the opening music, one of the best.
Nicholas Britell. Shout out Nicholas Britell.
TV show.
Yeah, like great opening, and just some of the kind of like accompaniments and the scores and stuff like that, and the arrangements that they did were amazing throughout. And there's a kind of a kind of moving set piece where they go from the house in Barbados where they've all kind of made up. Everyone's happy. Like, they're all suited and booted. They're ready to make the deal. They're going to go to the board. They're going to go take their company back.
They got their numbers. Yeah.
They got their numbers. They got all the numbers they need for the votes. Yeah. And the music is swelling and stuff like that. And then Mattson gets word back in New York that they may have the numbers. And then there's
you see Frank running around.
Yeah, and you see Frank running around, and Frank's told Mattson. And then Mattson just comes storming into a room. He goes, "Let's go! I want to see some phones." He's going crazy. It's such a great, great scene. Yeah. And he calls his head of communication, Ebba. He screams her name, and then
she was right there.
Yeah, she was right there.
Like, Ebba!
And she's like, and she's like, right there. It was so funny. And then that kind of like the whole thing where they're all going in separate cars, and they're saying, "Oh, have you got Dewey?" And all the stuff, and they're talking about Stewie's in New York. We'll see him in New York, kind of thing. And then when they get to New York. And then this is the kind of like the make or break maybe for Shiv, yeah, where basically Stewie's there, says, okay, like, you know what I mean, I'm a terrible guy, you know what I mean, I'm a terrible human being, you know what I mean, and basically Kendall just says all these funny, I don't want to ruin it for you, but he says all these like funny lines, no, you're just a soft guy, and I mean, you'll do whatever you say basically, and that kind of thing, and Shiv has a weird look on her face, kind of thing, like when she sees this dynamic where literally Kendall's in Logan's chair, feet on the table, you know what I mean, doing his thing, yeah, where looking like he's the boss, yeah. And then anyway, they eventually get into the boardroom. They're doing the votes. Everyone's there. There's so many people outside waiting, just watching through the glass kind of thing. And then people are doing their votes. So it literally gets to a point where
I think everyone votes except for her, isn't it?
It votes for her. It's 6-6.
Yeah.
She's the last vote.
She just says, she goes, "I need a minute." And she just dips.
She dips. Everyone Kendall's going crazy.
Even me, I'm just like,
what is happening? What is happening right now? This makes no sense.
And then, do you know, Kendall is so persistent. Because when she dipped here, they followed her, obviously, her and Roman. Yeah. And Kendall's like, "Shiv, what are you thinking?" He's like, I just need a minute, okay?
They go into a separate room and where you can, and it's kind of like set up geography-wise where, say the main boardroom is here, and this is like an open pen where everyone is. So when they came out, they had to walk through everyone to get to a separate room across the wall, kind of thing. But it's all glass, so you can see everything.
Yeah. And you think after she says, "I need a minute," you think he'd leave her alone. Yeah. He keeps asking, "But you want to tell me what you're thinking?" I'm like, bro, you're just pissing her off even more at this point. Give her a second, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And she had this great line where she just said, "Kendall, I love you, but I can't stomach you." And I was like, oh God, yeah, she's not voting for him.
She goes, "I can't vote for you." She goes, "I can't vote for you."
She's not voting for him. And then in the end, they just started airing shit out. Kem, oh my God, bro, they aired everything out, bro. They're like, "Oh, but you think you should be CEO? You killed someone." "Oh, no, that's not true. It never happened." He's like, did it happen or did it not happen?
And then Roman's like, "You made that up?"
Yeah, and he's just trying to say, I don't know. Yeah, it happened, but it didn't happen. And I'm just like, you messed up.
And then the worst thing was when Roman said, you can't be the guy. Your kids aren't even real."
Oh, I didn't know. They're not his kids, are they?
They're not his kids. So one's adopted. So the girl's adopted. She's I think like an East Asian, so South Asian background. And the other kid? And the other kid is half Arab because it was IVF, but he wasn't the actual donor.
Because when they revealed that, I was like, wait, what? It's not his kids. Now it makes sense why they both look different. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But yeah, he choked up Roman.
And he basically like kind of grabbed his and scrunched up his face.
It's a proper
It's a proper kid fight.
It's not even just a kid fight, you know. If you go to these places in central London, these guys in suits, I feel like they would all fight like that.
Yeah,
like they don't know how to throw punch. They'll just grab you and just.
It's so embarrassing. And they end up literally start fighting. They start like grabbing each other, gripping each other up, and then.
So okay. Sorry.
So then Shiv goes, I can't do this, and then she goes in She leaves and goes and votes. And then
Kendall comes in.
Kendall's spinning out. And there's even a moment where Kendall goes, I'm the oldest. Which is stupid. And then she goes,
I'm the eldest boy.
And then she's like, you're not.
Yeah.
And obviously he's not because obviously Connor's the oldest.
yeah.
But it was just so hilarious that he was literally spinning out. He was rattled.
That's the second time they've done that.
Yeah. And last time they did it, Connor was in there goes, come on guys, that hurts. Remember what
And he's basically telling them like, yo, if I don't get this, it's a wrap for me.
Yeah, he actually says,
I'm done.
He goes, there's nothing else I can do in this life.
In this life.
That's crazy.
Bro, the payout is billions for all of them. And he's saying, I have nothing left after this if I don't get CEO.
These people, man.
These men are crazy.
It's crazy.
I know. So where did we get to now?
So Kendall comes back into the boardroom. In the end, Frank's like, yo, vote's done.
Can I say one
Shiv
thing?
voted.
Yeah, and he goes,
7-6 to
you've lost. He goes, you've lost. But before that, there was a symmetry between the first episode of the show and this episode, where Roman, when Kendall in the pilot episode trying to get Volta up and running, and Roman's like, you know what, I didn't want to be here anyway, and I'm saying like this is all bullshit.
Yeah, that's what
this
he
is
did.
all bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is like a cage for me. This is what he said in the pilot episode. And the episode, he's literally on the table, and he goes to Kendall, goes, we're bullshit. We can't do this.
Yeah.
And literally is paying it back. I thought
we're bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's bullshit.
But yeah, when the look on Kendall's face when Frank's like, sorry son, you ain't got it. Basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was finished.
And literally there's a tracking shot, like the camera follows him to the elevator. And I don't know about you, I thought he was going up to the penthouse floor.
To go and jump
to go jump. That's what I thought initially. But he went.
I couldn't even think about that, because Tom walks in with all his team.
Tom walks in and then
he's ready to take CEO.
He's about to, you know what I mean? He's about to be made king. You know what I mean? And everyone's oh, you know what I mean? And then Hugo comes and goes, yo. He goes, Hugo's such a slimy guy. Always knew it was going to be you. And I'm just being proper slimy. And he's like, where's Carolina? The other head of comms. You know what I mean? And like, and then he goes,
he basically told Greg, you effed up as well.
Yeah, and then Greg, but he goes, I've got this little bit of room just for you. And then he puts this little sticker on his head. That means
he's just going to keep Greg in
from before, yeah.
He's going to keep Greg in
He's going to keep Greg. Because they went to the yard beforehand at the start of the episode to go pick stuff from from Logan's yard and stuff like that. But then it ends with basically Shiv and Tom. Shiv and Tom basically kind of weirdly. He got her back. He got her back in a weird way. And I was thinking, I was telling Mo, maybe Shiv thinks that she can control Tom and still be part of the company through Tom. And also she's got the baby as well.
She can't, man.
I don't think
her whole purpose right now is to give birth to the heir.
Yeah, I guess
she's just become
everything she didn't want to be.
She's become his woman now, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's why she pisses me off so much.
So she's now Tom.
Basically, bro, they sat in the car, Kem, didn't say any words, and he went like this. And then she just put her hand on top of his like that.
But Kem, she didn't hold his hand. She kind of just
placed it. She placed it on top of his hand,
like that.
And it was just a wrap. And then Roman's in a bar, just laughing to himself,
drinking up. The same drink, by the way.
Yes.
The same drink as Jerry's favorite drink, a martini.
Kendall. Yeah. That's what I love. Kendall goes to like a park, like a bench, and there's like a water there, and Logan's old bodyguards with him, and you think that he's gonna jump over the thing, but it just ends with him sitting on the bench and just looking out.
Yeah. So. And by the way, the last shot kind of did remind me of Godfather Part 2, by the way.
Yeah.
With Michael Corleone at the thing. And I mean, you wouldn't, of course, know about that. But again, we'll leave that.
Call back.
Had to get him back. You know what I mean?
That was weak though. So it was weak in my part.
You didn't feel it?
Hurt,
No, because listen, if you've been punched in the face before, you kind of know how it feels.
I hear that. Okay.
Some people's just got soft faces, innit? I'm just saying. Anyway, lads. Again, thank you, and I will catch up with it, even though they've told me.
Amazing series. It's up there with the all-time greats.
For me, it's in.
I don't think it's the greatest, but
me,
it's up there.
For me, I would say like the table's there. Like Succession is like just around the table. Like it's in the conversation.
They're hovering.
It's hovering. It's right there. He hasn't been given a seat yet.
Oh, really?
I think. Should I tell you what I need to say? I say that. Let it marinate. Give it a couple years. I only rewatched the.
Some people are already saying.
I only rewatched the finale right now.
Hold up. Have we given TV series our small-time critics scores?
Not one that we finished.
Let's start with
this
Succession.
One we can.
For Succession, what are you going to give it? STC score?
That's a good question. How
That's
do you
a
rate the
very-
whole series? Okay.
I would say there were ups and downs in season 3 and season 2, and there was a couple of like kind of holding pattern episodes even in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
I would say specifically episode 5 and episode 6
Yeah.
felt like holding patterns to, you know,
To
what I mean,
get-
the crescendo
yeah.
of the show. So I think all in all, I would say Succession is a solid 8.5.
I'm kind of shocked with that one, but go on.
Yeah.
I was thinking 8.5 or 9. I think.
It's in between-
If
in
you
between.
gave it 8.5, I could say, fair enough.
Yeah.
But Hash has been the front.
High for
He's
that.
been the cheerleader. for
8.5
it.
is really good though.
But the reason, but Kem,
It is.
but Kem, I'm not gonna lie, we've been starved of a really great like monoculture show for quite a long time. Like, obviously, the last monoculture show that we had was Game of Thrones.
Do you not hear what Brian? Do you not hear the guy who plays Logan, Brian Cox, said about
Yeah.
his death in the show?
Yeah, again,
He doesn't like it.
Sometimes actors do, because obviously when he was told
I don't blame him.
when he was told that his character was gonna get killed off, he was fine with it. But I guess he's upset with the manner of the death.
They
of
never
the-
showed him at all.
You know what I mean?
He was
But
just
I-
like they said. He basically said, "I was just an ear on the floor."
Yeah,
They were just putting the phone to his ear in it.
but again, it's so true to life of how some of these things. You know, when a close family member or like a major kind of like pillar of the family,
and you're not around them as
and
well.
you're not around
when
them.
it's happening. Yeah,
and the kind of confusion and the absolute shock is very, very true to life. And that's why the episode was so affecting.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
that's
mean?
the thing. So I will say this: I kind of agree with him, but he's always going to be part of one of the most shocking moments in
Yeah.
TV history.
Yeah,
so
it was incredible.
No, as I said when I spoke about it before, I think the way they did Logan's death was incredible because,
Yeah.
again, it resonated with me. It took me back to certain moments and how one's affected. Yet you're keeping a distance, but yet you don't want to be there because when you was chuckling about Roman and everything, again, it took me back. I was thinking, rare, like, I get it. I get it.
'Cause I remember
you don't want it to be real. You know it's real, but then it's almost like you just want to wake up from it. It's like, get him out of there. Like, so I get that. No, I get that. Yeah.
I remember you speaking as
I
well
get
how
that.
they all reverted back
Yeah.
to children when it
Yeah.
happened.
That's
Bro,
why we call them
it's-
kids,
It's,
because they are.
it's serious because and it's real. So I understand it. So it'll be a good watch for me. But then 8.5, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I still think The Wire is the best show ever. Bro.
Okay,
Yeah,
look, we'll get.
We're
to
gonna
that.
have to have a
We'll-
conversation about The Wire, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Succession. All of it. We have to have a conversation about it.
Even Mad Men as well, yeah.
We'll do TV brackets
Yeah, yeah.
anyway. Anyway,
We'll talk about that.
It's not on the same table.
don't be whispering. I'm here, bro.
He said Mad Men.
Anyway, listen, we're
Yes,
gonna.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what it is. It doesn't matter.
So that was our wrap up of Succession.
Season review.
Thank you, Cam.
Without watching the last 2 episodes, what kind of rating would you give the whole series?
I guess it's unfair.
It is a bit unfair. That's why I say without the last
it is a bit
two.
unfair.
Hence
Okay,
reason why I
okay.
didn't score it.
Because if he's like an 8.5, the last 2 could elevate it to a 9.
Yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
it currently is
Yeah.
about 8.5
Yeah.
because again, I'm very deep into politics.
Sure, yeah.
So
This is your
and
bag,
It's
innit?
my bag
Yeah.
as well. So hopefully,
For me,
it
it's
will
a
bring
toss up between episode 3, 8, and 9 as the best episodes of this season.
I can't pinpoint
Yeah.
which one's which.
Bro,
I cannot pick.
Currently, it's the death for me because again that
was good.
resonates.
How
with me.
shocking it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was our Succession's season 4 review.
Series review.
Series
Yeah,
review,
series
yeah,
review,
but
yeah.
we spoke season 4. Yeah, and if you haven't before, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Insta. Hashi will always get back to you. He'll probably talk about something that he shouldn't really be talking about, but hey, we can't control him. And
Yeah, don't get him talking about football.
please don't, because he's only allowed to be talking about TVs and movies, nothing else. Anyway, that's it for us today.
Sensible.
Peace.
Cheers.
Peace.